Hi. So I thought I would make a video doing answering some questions. There's this get to know me tag. What time do you go to bed? So I usually go to bed at like 10 or 11, but I sleep horribly. I'm what you call a light sleeper, and so I wake up like at least I would say like f 4 times a night is like would be a really good night for me. Like I wake up more than that sometimes. And I'm very jealous. I know people who are heavy sleepers and they can sleep through anything. And they can like lay down on the pillow and be out the whole night and not wake up once. And I'm so jealous. I don't know how people do that. They are blessed. And I struggle with panic attacks at night. I think I've talked about that before, but I pretty much only get them at night and when I'm by myself. And it really sucks to be sleeping and wake up and feel like you're and wake up with a panic attack. It's a terrible feeling. They're called nocturnal panic attacks. What are your favorite values in friends? I think there's two categories of friends. I think there's surface level friends, and I think there's what deep friends. And I think both are good. You can have fun with both. But I prefer deep friends because I consider people deep friends who I can share my life with, who I can share feelings with, problems with, things that I'm going through, and vice versa. I think those are like real friends. And friends that will be there for you if you need help, and vice versa. And those people are very hard to come by, I think. Most people would agree. But I've definitely had deep friends in my life, and um, I just smile when I think of them because they just really like made your life worth living. What's your favorite holiday? Halloween is coming up soon, and my favorite season is definitely fall. And it's starting to feel like that here in Wisconsin. My favorite temperature would be like between 50 degrees and 70 degrees. Like if I could live somewhere that was between 50 and 70 degrees year round, that would be like perfect. What is your best trait? So I think most people would say that I'm a very like giving, caring person. But if we're not talking about like what people would say about me, if I would personally, I think I would say my imagination and how deeply I feel things. Like my whole life, I have a very vivid imagination and dreams. And to the point where like I can imagine something and it feels like it actually just happened. And also like I'm a very I feel things very deeply. Not as much as when I was a kid because that kind of got like beat out of me pretty much. Because like those of us who feel very deeply, it's kind of looked down on in society as being weak. And I've made videos about that before, but like, yeah, that kind of got, it's a shame really, because that's really inherently who I am. But that kind of got like pushed out of me a lot. But that's why I used to cry a lot when I was a kid, was because like of the empathy in me and like I could hear a song or watch a movie or a TV show or something, or just see somebody like in pain or sad or something, and it would literally make me cry, like sobbing cry, because I felt that deeply about other people's pain. Like, I don't do well with that. If I see somebody like really hurting and sincerely crying, like that will get me. I will probably cry too because I can't handle it. I can't. What is your favorite restaurant? That's hard to say. I have various places I like, but I will say that like all my favorite restaurants get closed. One of my favorite sushi places closed like a year ago. It was the best sushi I've ever had, ever. But I think my favorite was a place called Tumbleweed Tex-Mex. And I'm pretty sure this restaurant still exists. And you might even have one in your city. I'm pretty sure it does. But they all closed to my knowledge in Wisconsin. So I love that, like, it's called Tex-Mex and it's different than like authentic Mexican food. I'm not sure why. I don't know much about Tex-Mex, but it's a different it's a different category, and like it was so good. So I try not to get attached to restaurants because I know that the ones that I like can close at any time. What is an interesting fact about you? So I've never talked about this on this channel, but I love westerns, like TV series. And the first western I ever saw, I was 6 years old. It was Bonanza, and I fell in love with that show. And to this day, that's my favorite western. And second would be Gunsmoke, which I recently got into, and that's the longest running western ever. That's like 20 some seasons long. And I get that from my dad's side of the family because like they are all into western, like what a lot of them watched westerns too growing up. And so my aunt on my dad's side, she moved to Wyoming when she was just out of school. And my uncle, also on my dad's side, moved to Montana when he was young. And so I've been to Montana. Our family visited them when I was like 13. And yeah, maybe I'll talk about that sometime, but Montana is like beautiful. It's like a different world. And there's like the waterfalls and the mountains and like the bison. One of the things I remember most is the bison will stand in the road and they and they will not move. Like you have to essentially just sit there and wait for them. It was crazy, and this didn't happen like one time. It was like multiple times. When we were driving down roads, there's like a herd of bison just standing in the road. If you live in Montana, like let me know if it's still like that. It was the craziest thing. I'm like, how do people get to work in this state? Like, is that a valid excuse? Like, oh, I couldn't make it until noon today because the bison were standing in the road all morning. And then for Westerns, I also like The Big Valley and Wagon Train. Um, and then there's just a bunch of Westerns. Like, Westerns were really popular in the 1950s and 60s. And there's a bunch that I haven't seen. Like, I've never seen The Virginian, and I don't know. But, like, if you like Westerns too, like me, like, please let me know in the comments, like, your favorite series, because I might be missing out and I would like to definitely watch another series. Because I'm like fascinated with that time period for whatever reason. I don't know, there's just something about it. And also the 1960s and the 1970s. I was not alive in those decades, but I'm one of those people that feels like I was born in the wrong time period. And like I don't like any of this AI chat GPT stuff. Like I'm not interested at all. I would like I so would have loved to be alive in the 60s and 70s. I just feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like that was a that would have been an awesome time to be alive. What is the first thing you notice about people? That's kind of hard. I don't really like zone in on anything. I usually look at people like as a whole. I do know that I make people uncomfortable when I look at them. And because I'm an INFJ personality type, and that is very common for INFJs. Like people report, like when an INFJ looks at you, it's like the 1,000 yard stare, and it's like looking into your soul. And I do like I like to really learn people and see them for who they really are. And that takes time, obviously, but like at a first meeting, like I do really look at a person and like trying to look into their soul and see what they're all about. And like the eyes or whatever, like it makes people feel uncomfortable. But like I can't help it because that's just how like we process information. Is like it's like a laser beam going. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like very focused. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. I'll answer some more questions in another video. Please leave comments.